Hello and welcome to this video, everybody. We're going to create a new project, and I'm going to show you what terrain is and how to create terrain. So when you start, you will obviously have a main camera and a directional light as a default. What you need to be creating is, first of all, create a terrain. So as soon as you create a terrain, it should come over here, and if you go to the settings of the terrain, you can check its size. I'm going to create 300 by 300, uh, the terrain. That's its size, first of all. Yeah, okay, so that's my terrain, and let's look at some of the options I've got. First of all, do one thing: you right click the assets and import a few packages. Right click and import the character. We're gonna need the first person controller, so we're importing that package. You may select, and it's actually better to select only the first person controller package. I'm just to make it quick, I'm importing everything for now within the characters. And then also I need to import the environment, because I'm going to need the trees, the grasses, etc. So I import the environment package also over here. Once I've got that, I'll be using it to paint my terrain with the brushes I've got. um, Please note, creating the terrain makes your computer a little it starts to consume your graphics and processing and everything a little more. So shut down any of the programs which you've already opened. So I'm going to click on terrain when it's open, and when it's imported. And then first thing is first, I'm going to give it uh, a texture. So I'm going to come and add a texture right from here, and I'm going to select something like a rocky texture, because on top of the rocky texture I'm going to add grass. So that's the rocky texture which by default your whole terrain will have. And then I can add a texture, and then I'm gonna add grass texture. Let's say I'm gonna add grass font and add. Now this is what I can paint and at the areas which I like. So now um, I can, for example, paint over here some grass. um, Click on that grass texture, and then you see it can be painted over there. Now let's come back to the height. That brings us to the terrain. I need to create some height over here just to make it more pleasant and more like natural kind of uh, this terrain. And you can adjust the brush size obviously from here, uh, and if you keep on clicking, it will increase the height to a little abnormally. So it's up to you. You may need to think and decide really how much height you need at which place. Let's visualize. So this is how you actually create height. This is the brush to create height. Now if you go to the second brush, what you can do is basically, um, you can also increase height of an uh, uh, existing mountain which you have created, or you can also decrease it. Like if you click on this and you come here, you can actually decrease the height. Okay, so that's a decrease height too, and obviously the brush size is the same as it has in the first tool. The brush size, the bigger brush size, the bigger the impact will be. And then we've got the smooth height. What it will do, like for example, now all these brushes also and all these first three tools are very important. Let's say if I click on this, it will be, the height will be a little more rocky. See, if I come here and I paint the height, you'll see it will be too much rocky. So because this is the brush I selected over here. So what smooth can do for us is that if you click on smooth and select an appropriate brush, make sure it's appropriate size also, it can smooth that rocky texture for you. You see that? So it's kind of gets smoother instead of like more pointed. So this is your another tool for smooth painting. Make sure you use the brushes, all of these brushes. Don't use all of these, I mean all of these brushes are provided to create a good terrain. You may use a variety of them, and then you're gonna look at what texture we need and where. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, giving some texture at the at the top of this the mountains I created. This grass texture, so that the top of the mountains become greener, is what you can do. Make sure you have multiple textures, and you can paint them at multiple places. It still is, it is time consuming, obviously. Yes, it does takes time for you to pinpoint and go there and um, you know paint it. Make sure you select the correct texture and the brush size when you want to do that. And obviously then we have got trees, grass, water, and you can import items also from the link I sent to you guys. Alright, so let's go to the place trees. Now if you come here, add tree, you won't be seeing any tree. You need to come here and select which tree you need. If you have trees, um, yeah, there is a tree. Let's say this confiner desktop. I'm going to select and add. And then you're going to see it over here. Obviously, now this tree and the grass makes things a little slower. Now you can see you want Unity to create the trees randomly, or you will specify how many trees and what is the height of the tree you will create. So let's say if I say I unselect that, I say okay, this will be the height, and let me just change this to 2. Now you see if I paint it now, it will be longer trees I have over here. So basically these are the trees I can create, and you can have random variation, and this looks beautiful when the wind works, which I've shown to you. Alright, now when we come to the terrain, we can have some texture in the terrain. Let's add a grass texture, and now this is something which takes a lot of processing. I'm just gonna select any grass over here and make sure it's not too dense. The brush size, if you make it a lot bigger, it does take a lot of processing power. Okay, so that's how you can paint the grass. And then we have got first person controller. This is our first person controller. Let's see over here under the characters, first person character has a prefab. This is my first person character prefab. I just drag and drop this over here and see where is its position. Its position is here, and you can see all of these area along which the line is going, its lines are going. So what I can do is I can get rid of my main camera now. I just delete it because the first person controller has his own camera. If I run this now, you will see that he is now on the ground. So I can use my arrow key to jump. You can go forward, look right, look left, etc. If it's very rocky, he may feel a little different. This issue is walking. When it is grass, it will be easier. You see this rock at the bottom, and you can use your mouse, etc. to control it's where it is looking at. Alright, that's all I've got for the initial terrain. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you use all of the options you can see within the terrain so that you can create a good terrain. Thank you very much for watching again.